A proclamation of the Holy Gospel according to Saint Matthew. When Jesus was born in Bethlehem of Judea, in the days of King Herod, behold, Magi from the east arrived in Jerusalem, saying, "Where is the newborn King of the Jews? We saw his star at its rising, and have come to do him homage." When King Herod heard this, he was greatly troubled, and all Jerusalem with him. Assembling all the chief priests and the scribes of the people, he inquired of them where the Christ was to be born. They said to him, "In Bethlehem of Judea, for thus it has been written through the prophet, 'And you, Bethlehem, land of Judah, are by no means least among the rulers of Judah, since from you shall come a ruler, who is to shepherd my people Israel.' Then Herod called the Magi secretly, and ascertained from them the time of the star's appearance. He sent them to Bethlehem and said, 'Go and search diligently for the child. When you have found him, bring me word, that I too may go and do him homage.' After their audience with the king, they set out. And behold, the star that they had seen at its rising preceded them, until it came and stopped over the place where the child was. They were overjoyed at seeing the star, and on entering the house, they saw the child with Mary his mother. They prostrated themselves and did him homage. Then they opened their treasures and offered him gifts of gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And having been warned in a dream not to return to Herod, they departed for their country by another way. The Gospel of the Lord.
Our Gospel reading for this Sunday, the solemnity of the Epiphany, comes from Matthew. We find in Matthew a story, a narrative presentation of what we have been reflecting on from Isaiah and the letter of Paul to the Ephesians. If we compare the three readings, we can say that the Gospel is a story of a truth which Isaiah and St. Paul present to us not so much in a story form, but in the form of a vision and also of a theological reflection. Now, just to recap, the first two readings talk about light, the light of God. In the first reading, the light of God is shining over the holy city, Jerusalem, and over the people, Israel. But that light of God, the glory of God, is not meant to be kept by Israel and by Jerusalem for themselves. That light is for all the peoples. So Israel, Jerusalem had a vocation to be true to the light of God, not for themselves, but for the universe. That light must shine brightly in Jerusalem for all the peoples to see, so that all the peoples would come to Jerusalem and get to know God. Now, we said that that light is a person, Jesus Christ. The vision of Isaiah is fulfilled in the church, according to St. Paul in the second reading. The church is made up of people who come from the old Israel and from the Gentile world, brought together as one body, sharing in the one light of Jesus Christ. So, the vocation of Israel is not abrogated. It is brought to fulfillment in the new Israel, the church, the body of Christ. And so the church must now allow that light coming from Christ to shine forth over the world, to be brilliant, so that people seeing the light of Christ in the church will get to know the face of God. Now, this truth that we have been reflecting on is presented to us in a narrative form in the Gospel. we have the astrologers from the east, the astrologers from the Gentile world, and they saw the signs from the heavens telling them that a new king of the Jews has been born. And so they set out on a journey looking for the newborn king. It was the star that led them. It was some sign from heaven. It was some light that signaled to them the birth of a bigger light, a new king. And they went to Jerusalem and encountered Herod, who did not know the answer to the question, where is the newborn king of the Jews? Where can we find him? And so Herod consulted the experts, those who knew the scriptures, and they gave the answer, Bethlehem. And the astrologers went to Bethlehem and found the baby. In their visit to this baby Jesus, and in their homage to him, bearing their gifts of gold, myrrh, and frankincense, the vision of Isaiah is fulfilled, and the beginnings of the church are found there. We find the light of God in Jesus, gathering people from different parts of the world, and they see God in him. So, the fulfillment is here. But let me now focus on another dimension. We have been focusing on how God has been gracious to us, especially to us who belong to the Gentile world. We now are heirs to the promise of salvation, thanks to Jesus Christ and thanks to the church. But we need to look into ourselves. What is the quality of our response to Jesus, who is the light? You know, very often, Christ becomes something that is so part of our lives that we can easily take him for granted. Yes, during Christmas, during Easter, we talk about him as light. But in our day-to-day life, is he truly light? Is he truly the light and the glory of God that has made a difference in our lives? And for this part, I would invite you to look at the three types of responses in the gospel. The first is the response of the astrologers. Oh, and we know this is the ideal. They were discerning. They read the signs of the times. And in their case, they knew how to read the stars, the signs from the heavens. They were discerning, and they acted on their discernment. They were eager to find this newborn king. They wanted to see the light at once. They did not waste time. They took the effort, and they bore so much suffering, with the travel and with the hardships associated with the travel. But they were determined. We saw the signs. The light is there already. We should pay homage to him. We need to see the light. This is the ideal response. Discernment with action. Determination. Self-giving. Not counting the cost. Determined. I will find the light. The light has been manifested to me. The gift has been given to me. I will not waste the gift. This is a beautiful lesson from the astrologers. But then you have Herod. What was his response? His response to the news that the newborn king is right there in his territory. His response was fear. He got disturbed. he finds this newborn king a threat to his power. And so he started to tell a lie. He told these astrologers, "Oh, come back. Tell me where you have found this child. No, if you have found him, come back so that I can also pay homage." That was a lie. We know the ending of the story. He wanted to know, the birthplace of this child so that he could kill the child. Now, this is a possible response. We are not excited about Jesus. We even find him a threat to our interests, to our plans. And so, ignore Jesus. Kill him. Some people believe, they say believe in Jesus, but they practically kill him because they find him a hindrance to their plans, to their greed, to their lust for power, for pleasure. They eliminate Jesus. There is a Herod in us. And the third response is from the experts. Jesus, who knew where Jesus was born? The chief priests, the scribes, who knew scriptures. But you see, they were just academic about Jesus. They reported to Herod this passage from the prophet, and so we are able to identify Bethlehem. But did they go to Bethlehem? Did their knowledge lead them to the excitement of the astrologers? We need to go to Bethlehem. We need to see the newborn king. No. Intellectual indifference. No change in their lives. My dear brothers and sisters, what are we? The Lord has given us this tremendous grace. We have seen the light in Jesus. We have been participants in the saving plan of God. We are part of His body, that body called the church. Are we like the astrologers, excited to meet Jesus? Are we like Herod, threatened by Jesus? Or are we like the experts who have a lot in their heads, but nothing in their hearts make them look for Jesus? We hope that on this solemnity of the Epiphany, we don't only rejoice that the light has shone upon us. Let us actively look for Him. Let us adore Him. And let us go to the ends of the earth, bringing His justice, His truth, His compassion, His mercy. I close this reflection with an experience of mine. In one meeting, I was approached by a bishop, a fellow bishop from North America. And we were comparing notes, and he asked me, what is your diocesan plan, pastoral plan in your diocese? And you know, when he asked me that, a part of me said, here I go again. I will explain again our diocesan pastoral plan. You know, it has become so routinary for me explaining it to the clergy, to the religious, to the lay faithful of the diocese. And now here is this foreign bishop asking me about it. So I could close my eyes and mouth out the whole plan. But nothing in my heart was resonating. It's work, just like the scribes and the chief priests. And at the end of my presentation, he said, "My God, what a beautiful plan. I have not heard anything like that." He said, "May I invite you? Share with our priests." And I said, what is he getting excited about? No? But then I realized he was like the astrologer, excited about the light. And I could be compared to the chief priests and the scribes, and even to Herod. No? Like, okay, here is this light, but who cares? No? And I'm telling you this because we could all kill the light of Christ. We could all be indifferent to the light of Christ. On this solemnity, let the light of Christ shine brightly for the world to see. The word has been exposed. Let us now fulfill it.